All right, you're live. Let's go.
Tony,
Imran,
how are you?
aka Bobby.
My first time live on Facebook.
YouTube.
Oh shit, my bad. My first time live on YouTube. Where is it? Which camera are we looking at? Thank you guys.
I'm gonna turn this off if you have to.
No, okay. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. This is Anthony and mine first live YouTube podcast. Is that what it's called? Webinar?
Sure.
First webinar live regarding real estate. We have a special guest on his way right now. Mortgage broker extraordinaire, Chris D'Souza.
Surprise, surprise. Mortgage broker's late. For anyone who's bought a property before, you'll understand what I mean. Buying a property is, there's a lot of waiting and it's a lot of the times it's not in our hands. You know, the mortgage broker's got to wait on the underwriter's got to wait on the lender, lawyers.
We didn't even say the show name.
So I cut you off, man. You know what? That's going to happen from time to time. Go on. Continue.
Thank you guys for joining us on our very first episode of Coffee and Cognac.
Coffee and Cognac.
Cheers, buddy.
How did you come up with the name, Imran?
I'm Cognac. I'm Cognac.
Yeah, you're Cognac. I'm coffee.
I know you are, bro.
Yeah.
You look good.
No, the premise behind the name was that, listen, some people like coffee, some people like cognac, some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla. Most of the time in real estate, if you ever ask us a question, most of the time the answer is it depends. It depends.
That's true.
You know, there's so many different options, so many different people, so many different circumstances. So, I mean, and that's kind of how we came up with the show, is Coffee and Cognac. You know, come sit down with us, have a chat, whether you like to drink coffee, whether you like to drink cognac, tea, orange juice, smoothies. Come join us once a month. Is it once a month or every 2 weeks?
So let's ask
our producer.
Let's ask the producer.
Once a month,
For now, once a month.
For now, once a month.
Once a month.
Tell everybody to comment and like. And
On a Tuesday evening, sit down, ask some questions, learn some real estate.
Yeah,
and
let's
just
share
chat.
our journey. Yeah.
Let's just shoot the shit.
Yeah, let's share our journey.
I'm allowed to say that on YouTube?
of course you can.
Yeah.
Let's just shoot the shit.
So you first. You shoot the shit first, bro.
So
Tell me a little bit about yourself, bro.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you do? What's your name? Tell me what I need to know about you.
My name is Anthony Tabar. I've been in real estate now for going on 15 years. My entire career, aside from maybe 1 year, was with the Real Estate Center, REC
Wow.
Canada. I started in the business helping family and friends buy and sell existing property. And very recently, over the past 4 or 5 years, I've decided to hone my skills, and I chose a niche in the pre-construction condo market.
Well, why? Why did you get into pre-construction?
There's a few reasons why I got into the pre-construction market. I saw a huge demand for it as resale properties continued to get scarce. More people were fighting over resale properties. A lot of the investors didn't like buying real estate in an auction style. You don't really know.
But it's an auction style now with pre-construction, isn't it? Kind of, sort of. Wouldn't you say?
You can. There are ways where you can get around it.
Like
Getting first access.
How? So how do you get first access?
Well, you got to develop a relationship with that developer.
I know how to get first access. But how do you, somebody who doesn't know how to get first access?
Okay,
how?
so I use this term a lot with clients that call me. Have you ever heard of the term baker's dozen?
No.
Baker's dozen is when you go to a donut shop and you buy 12 donuts, the baker will give you one free. If you buy 11 donuts, you buy 11 donuts. That's it. You don't get the 12th one free. But if you buy 12, you get a 13th one.
Oh, really?
Now, in condos, if we sell 12 condos, the developer doesn't give us a free condo. I wish that was the case, but he doesn't. What he does is he say, wow, these guys are, consistently marketing my product. They're spent money on it. They've brought in clients and sold units that were tough to sell, like huge 3-bedroom units that, aren't the most desirable. And our reward for our results is that they'll invite us to their next launch. This developer will remember us because we didn't just walk in our cousin and buy and sell one unit. We didn't walk in a group of investors and sell 4 units. We sold 12, 13, 15,
So
20.
what's so important for having first access? Or what's so important of even getting into a project? Why?
Well, because I mean, look, developers are not non-profit organizations. They definitely want to capitalize and increase their bottom line whenever and however possible. So any chance that they see the demand outweighs the supply, they're going to raise prices. So the earlier you get in there, the lower that you're going to pay for that amount of square footage.
Tony, I want to know something. Can I call you Tony?
Absolutely. You can call me whatever you want.
How do I make a lot of money, brother? That's what I want to know.
Well, that's why when I focused in on the pre-construction niche, I learned that there's a method to this madness. It's not just throwing a dart on a board and hoping that you pick the right project. You know, there's 150 cranes in the sky right now. How do you know where your 15% or 20% deposit, call it 100,000 or 150,000, where is that 100,000 or 150,000 going to grow as much and as fast as possible before you get your keys? That's the name of the pre-construction investing game. I can't tell you how many times I sit down with a pre-construction investor, first time investing in pre-construction, and he asks me, what will this rent for in 4 years? I can't help but laugh, because if we went back 4 years ago, Imran, 4 years ago, could you predict that the rents would be this high this time, you know, these days? Could you predict that a 1-bedroom condo in downtown Toronto is going to be $2,800 a month, $3,000 a month? Could you predict that?
You're really good, man.
What's happening? Oh, we're still going?
We're good. We're live, man. What do you mean?
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
dude. You're good. You know what I saw in the news on CP24? Actually, I saw it today.
That's not news. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Chris. Okay. We're just wrapping up, buddy. We're finished now.
That was crazy.
The mortgage broker arrives just in time. We had to ask for an extension.
We're live, by the way.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Right there.
We had to ask for an extension on the conditional period, but that's okay. We got here just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. Everybody, Krista Souza, everybody.
Pleasure to meet everyone. Thank you for
you so
having
much.
me.
You gotta put your mic on, brother.
Okay.
You want a drink?
Give the guy a drink. Let him relax for a bit. Come on, you just had a long drive.
I'll make you a drink.
You driving after this? Say no.
No,
Great. Awesome.
I Ubered.
Awesome. Perfect.
Chris de Souza. So, Tony, like I was saying, here, brother.
Thank you. Yes.
What I was saying, Tony, what I saw on
Let me
CP24.
pour it.
No, I got it.
Yeah, take your time.
What I saw on CP24 today or last night, it was, I think rents are going up by 11% next year. The average rent in Toronto right now is $2,500. You seen that?
And then, like I said, ask
change?
somebody 4 years ago
Yes.
You want to change?
Yeah.
if they thought that the rents were going to be this high these days. Nobody would have predicted it. The pre-construction condo investing game is not. You're not after your cash flow. Cash flow is peanuts in comparison to the equity that you build over the course of construction.
What do you mean cash flow?
The cash flow, positive cash flow. So if I'm buying a condo for $600,000, and cheers.
Cheers, boys. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Everybody off camera. Cheers. Cheers.
Come on. So it's good that you just got here. So let's say if I bought a $600,000 condo these days, and I'm putting 20% down, so I'm borrowing $480,000. Just give me a rough estimate of what that would cost me per month.
On 680, about 600? Yeah, about $1,800.
$1,800. Call it $400 a month for property for maintenance fees. Call it $300 a month for property taxes. I'm looking at 18 plus 4 is 22 plus 3 is $2,500 a month. If I can rent this condo out for $2,600 a month, and I'm making $100 a month cash flow, that's positive cash flow. It's peanuts in comparison to the equity that I'm building every year at just a 5% appreciation.
5% is 5% is a market crash, man.
5% is conservative. That's the
It's
number.
super conservative, but I mean, since we got started in the business, the one thing that we continuously hear is market crash, market crash. Everybody's just waiting for the market to crash.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, after, so many years in the business, a 5% increase in 1 year is a market crash thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny to say
You know
that.
what I mean?
We're blessed to live
Yeah,
in a
we're
city
blessed, exactly.
that's been seeing constant growth.
Yeah.
Um,
But you're talking about the $100 is really your
I'm
point.
talking that if an investor, a pre-construction condo investor, cash flow is the last thing that you should be thinking about.
100%.
That's not the goal. It's like somebody walking into a bank asking for a GIC and telling them, I want the best rate of return on this GIC.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a good return, you're not going to buy GICs.
Yeah.
You're going to buy stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe mutual funds. If you get lucky, you hit big, but definitely not the GICs. So what I want to stress here is that real estate is a very vast industry. There's so many different avenues or vehicles that you can invest in, whether it's commercial real estate, whether it's a regular resale house where you rent up and down, whether it's land severance, whether it's investing your RRSPs with a developer. There's so many different investment vehicles that it's really important to understand each one when you're getting into and to use an expert in whatever niche of the real estate market you're looking at.
Yeah.
You know what, man? We haven't introduced Chris properly.
We didn't.
Chris,
Thank
who
you.
are
Sorry,
you?
I go off
Yeah.
on tangents.
That's
You're
okay.
good,
That's okay.
man.
I like it. I'm going to feed off of that in a second with the
You make me wanna
$100.
buy- you make me want to buy some real estate, man.
All right.
Chris, who are you? Why are you here? Tell everybody about you. Who are you?
I'm Chris D'Souza. I'm an investor-driven mortgage broker that likes to help all of you guys with building your clients' real estate action plans to help them determine how many properties they can buy, when they buy it, how they buy it, with who they buy it. All of that kind of gets factored in all at the same time. So that way, in the next 3 to 5 years, people can buy properties and they know what they can afford to buy right from the very beginning.
So you're basically the money man.
The money man.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're the money man.
The money man.
Chris, how long have you been in the industry? I don't know if did you didn't.
No, I've been in the industry for 15 plus years now.
Wow.
And it's interesting because when I first started,
So you
people
know
were
shit,
people were trying to invest, and we have to learn quickly. Well, how do we get people into more property?
Yeah.
And how do they buy more property? And going back to your $100, and thank you for the introduction, guys, much appreciated. But going back to your $100, that $100 a month can be looked in two ways. Okay, one, it can be, yes, it's costing you $100. Is $1,200 a year going to negatively affect your lifestyle? And if it does, then maybe we reconsider if you buy or not.
You're talking about negative cash flow.
Negative cash flow.
Even if it's positive cash flow, you can't retire off of $100 a month positive cash flow.
No.
That's not a retirement plan.
What I'm alluding to, though, is that you're going to get into that $1,200 for the year. It's almost the same as you investing $100 into an RSP, right? So whether you're putting it into an RSP and you want to wait till you're 71 years old to get that money back and then pay tax on that money, why not spend the $100 up front? You're in charge of the money that you withdraw from the property in 5-10 years whenever you need it back. My point, though, is that if the $100 is going to negatively affect your lifestyle, then maybe we reconsider how you buy and if you even do buy.
100%. I completely agree with you. I think that if $100 a month is going to make or break you, I really don't think that real estate is the right thing
It's
to
your
do right
thing.
now.
Yeah. And there's also, building these teams of experts with yourself and myself and all of us collectively, the accountant plays such an important role to explain to the investor the advantages of being able to invest in property, the fact that you can write off the interest on the mortgage itself, where the bigger picture is that in those 12 months when you come to file tax, you're going to see a return with the interest deduction off of it. So calculated is really where I'm going with it. Calculated to figure out, is that going to negatively affect your lifestyle? Are you spending $100 in an RSP or an RESP for that matter? Only because kids now, parents are planning for their kids through RESPs. But I can show you on paper that an RESP will not add up to you purchasing a property and being able to send 3 of your kids to school as opposed to 1.
Careful. There might be some bankers listening. We're going to get some negative comments.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything
Bring us
that's
all
not.
the comments, please. We need comments, guys. This is our first webinar. Please, we need all the comments.
No,
Good, bad, everything.
I love that, and there was so much information in that little speech you just gave us. It's amazing to think 5 or 10 years ahead. Let's slow things down like a lot, and let's talk to our first time buyer. Let's talk to somebody who's buying their first property for the first time.
Wants to get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
What do they need to do?
So wait, hold on. Sorry. Now that, there's different types of first-time buyers, right? So is this a first-time buyer for resale? Is this a first-time buyer for pre-construction? Is this a young family? Is this a parent purchasing for helping their kid purchase? You know what I mean? So put more context to this first-time buyer.
And somebody who's looking to purchase their first property, whether it's for an investment or whether it's for themselves to move into, it's their first time buying a property.
Resale.
It's a resale property, and we don't know what they're doing with it. We don't know whether they're going to be moving in. Because I know that, again, I said this in the beginning, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. This answer, it depends, is very frequent in our industry because so much differences amongst people and amongst situations and circumstances can arise.
Yeah.
So let's talk to the first-time home buyer who's moving into the property.
Sure. Well, first-time home buyers, they're also first-time investors. They just don't know that they're first-time
100%.
investors because their emotions to purchasing a property is, what can I buy? How much can I qualify for? Do I have enough money for the down payment? Do I have the credit?
Right.
All of those variables, people think about, not looking at it from the outside in. They look at it more so from the inside in.
Right.
With that being said, first-time home buyers, I always like to educate them to say, let's help you get into your first property.
Okay.
Whether it be help from bank of mom and dad, whether it be they're looking to get married, whether they're doing it as a joint venture with the 2 people just to get into the market.
That's great too. Can we speak about joint ventures, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's a joint venture?
Yeah, but let's just
one thing at a time.
Yeah. So with the first-time home buyer itself, first-time home buyers always say, well, we want to buy another property. So I always educate first-time home buyers to say, the first property that you buy is not the property that you're going to live in forever, but it's the property you're going to hold on to forever.
Got it.
And the reason why you hold on to it forever is because now we can build off of that first home and get you into that secondary home, whether it be if you're upsizing from a condo to a town, from a town to a semi to a detached, then they know what that progression is, but they can keep their first property and use it as their piggy bank.
Sure. I've said time and time again, I'm probably one of very few realtors who always encourages my clients not to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They think we're big bad realtors, and every time they invite us over, I've got a pen in my pocket and a contract in my car.
Yeah.
But if you can hold on to your property, hold on to it. And I
long
love that
as you
you
can,
would speak to a first-time home buyer with the long term in mind. Sorry, I cut you off again.
That's okay. So now, for example, I'll give you a really good example. I had just 2 years ago, I had a client that bought a detached home for $685,000. Okay.
Years ago.
2 years ago, in the East End of the city. Like I said, single car garage, 18 to 1900 square feet. Bought it for $685,000. They were just looking to buy another property, and they said, we love it out here, but we work in the city. We want to live closer to work. We don't want to have to worry about cutting the lawn. We don't have to worry about shoveling the snow. What is it that we can do? And I looked at it and I said, well, you own a detached home, which is very hard to come by. Okay, in today's market, there's not enough land. If there is, it's all on the outskirts. People still want to stay within the GTA. So I said, let's reanalyze all of this and put an analysis together. And I said, look, let's get an appraisal done. Okay, first thing, get an appraisal, confirm the value. It came to 900, and it came up to 900,000 from what they bought it at 685 in 2 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Eat that, RESP.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, their goal was to buy another property.
Yeah.
So I said, well, look, instead of you selling your detached home, which is now rare and
Yeah,
scarce to
yeah,
come by,
yeah.
hold on to it. Let's figure out what the rents are in the area. Let's make sure that we can rent this out to cover your mortgage. I think it was $3,200, but the mortgage was $3,000.
Beauty.
And so they're cash flowing the $200 that we were talking about earlier, which is great. It's a benefit to them. The best part of it all is that they had access to now, in terms of what they bought it for, to what is
$720K.
right. So now instead of and this is also important for all of our viewers when it comes to refinancing and pulling equity out of your home. It's not about how much access you have in terms of equity. It's how much you use of that equity to go purchase another property, which is exactly what we did. We took exactly what they needed, including their closing costs. I put a little bit of a contingency plan in there for another $25,000 to keep them going in the event their rental property has any repairs, vacancies, the tenant loses their job, what have you. It's all there as a buffer.
Okay.
And they had the extra funds, the $170,000, to go purchase another property, which they're able to downsize. They're able to get that condo of their choice. They're able to live in the city, and they ended up achieving both goals, not knowing that they didn't have to sell.
That's
awesome, man.
That's a typical refinance right there. We just explained to you.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's the refinance.
I hate to go back to our first-time buyer, but what would you need from somebody who's looking to get into the market right now? So, like, Imran and I are realtors, and we would like to think we're the most important part of this whole process.
We are, man.
We're not.
We're the quarterbacks. Yeah, so we are,
We're the
bro.
quarterback. But what's a quarterback?
I'm kidding.
with-
The
with-
finance guy, the money guy is the most
the money guy.
important part.
He's
Yeah.
the money guy, right?
Yeah,
So we want to know how to guide our clients. My first step with anybody I talk to, whether it's at a wedding, a funeral, a birthday party, Anthony, I want to get into the market. Have you spoken to a bank or a mortgage broker? It's my first question. Have you spoken to a bank
So
or a mortgage
when
broker?
we are dealing with anybody purchasing resale, I won't show them a single property until they're pre-approved, until they've spoken to a mortgage broker, a bank, anybody.
Yeah.
Chris D'Souza, best. You know what I mean? I've been working with Chris. I've been working with Chris pretty much the entire duration of my career. I've been working with Chris.
Yeah.
Guys, whoever is watching this, seeing this today, tomorrow, Chris D'Souza. What's your number, bro? What's your number?
416-884-2984.
There you go, guys.
There you go. You got it live
Put
now.
it in the comment section, or we'll send everyone an email afterwards with everyone's contact
But yeah,
information.
the most important in a real estate transaction, one of the most important pivotal pieces on the chessboard is a mortgage broker. The mortgage broker.
Right. So, and when it comes to me, I like to walk all of our clients through a 3-step process.
Okay. Three-step process.
And familiar to the way you guys do the introductions is an introductory email goes out.
Okay.
There's a link to my application page, which I just need preliminary information on who you are, where you work, how much income do you earn, what's your assets, what's your liabilities, and how much money can you come up with for a down payment.
So that's what Tony asked. What's the trifecta? No, it's credit.
Well, no, he's saying what his application.
The application says. Yeah.
So that's just the first step.
So who you are, where you work, how much you make,
That's right.
assets, liabilities, and down payment.
Right.
Everybody hear that?
No.
Who you are, what's your name, where do you work, how much do you make,
Imran Alam, Royal LePage signature.
assets, liabilities, and down payment.
Down payment. Yeah.
So those 6 things. That's what an application would look like.
A quick application.
A quick one, yeah. So once it comes to me, I'll analyze it all and I'll work out a couple of scenarios and tell them what their options are. And for my first-time home buyers, it doesn't always mean that you need to have 20%. Okay, if your combined income, household income is 140,000, but you only have 70K, which is 10% down on a $700,000 property, it's possible for you to qualify without having to put the 20% down because you now have the income to support it. If you don't have the income, and if you don't have the income, you have to come up with the down payment, and that's where you have to come up to that 20% mark. Okay.
So whether you're a first-time home buyer or not, Actually, so only if you're a first-time home.
I'm referring to first-time
Yeah,
home
yeah,
buyers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And again, like
Owner-occupied purchasers.
owner-occupied purchasers, sure, same applies for
Yeah.
them too.
Yeah.
But whether they put down, again, the rules apply. If they have more income, then they can put less money down.
Okay. So in a market where houses, detached houses, semi-detached houses, townhouses are going up 25% per year, 20% per year, would it be wise for a first-time home buyer or somebody looking to move up, an owner-occupied a bigger house that they're looking at, would it make sense for them to save the remaining 10% that they're missing, or would it bite the bullet and get a mortgage at 90-10?
Bite the bullet, get it at 90-10. As we were just speaking earlier, the appreciation, depending on the city that you buy in, is going to be X. Let's say it's 10%. So if you can forecast that appreciation within the next 2 years, you now know that you've hit the 80% mark.
Well, take your friend, for example. They bought a detached home for $680,000, and in 2 years it was appraised at $900,000.
That's right.
That's $210,000 on a $680,000 purchase in 2 years.
Right. And to answer your question, now they have 80% in the property. When they bought it, they didn't have 80%.
No way.
Right? So it equated now to the 80%. So
Crazy.
they pay off that first mortgage. They get a new mortgage with whatever it is that they need, which was now the 685, which is, it actually worked out to be 685 as well, with what they were taking out. So technically, they're in that property with 0% down.
Just to slow things down for just a second, okay? They bought a property with $68,000, $680,000. They put 10% down, $68,000. I wonder how long it took them to save the $68,000. But in only 2 years, the property went up $115,000 each year.
That's right.
$115,000.
That's incredible.
Do you think that they could save $115,000 in 1 year?
No. The average person, we're average too. Even for us, it's extremely difficult to save anything in double digits. You know what I mean?
So I guess my point here is before you think you can't, check with somebody.
Exactly.
Speak to somebody and get a financial snapshot of where you stand before you put an end to a possibility. You know?
The biggest thing that delayed me from starting to create my own wealth was not knowing.
100%.
And
Great point.
Because I didn't know, I just didn't think about it. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing possible. The access to information and the ease of access to information that we have today is incredible versus when we started in the business.
Yeah.
I remember for some of my first real estate showings, there was no GPS. I didn't have GPS. You know those GPS Garmins? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those were like new. That was a new thing.
Yeah.
There was no Google Maps. I was going on MapQuest and printing out MapQuest to show me where I had to go.
Yeah.
So the ease of
we were a lot smarter back then.
but like no, for real. Like look, right now we're live on YouTube. This is incredible.
I know.
You know, like we didn't have this.
We used to put flyers on bus stops so people would come to
We
shop
did.
at Don Mills.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Anyway.
When I had my one of my first rental properties, how I used to find tenants was I used to print out
Ugly yellow flyers?
no. On Word, I used to print out flyers, and then I would cut at the bottom that people could take my number out, and I'll put it in bus stops.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as Kijiji, Craigslist, nothing.
Anyway.
So if you want to be able to purchase, if you feel like you can't get in the market to invest, speak to somebody, just like Tony said, just like Chris said. Speak to somebody, talk to us, talk to anybody. It doesn't matter. You know, don't think that you can't.
Yeah, it's like going to the doctor, right? You're going to go get a checkup. You do an annual physical. You don't know if there's anything wrong with you or if there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going in hopes that, like everything is good and I can continue living.
Yeah.
But going back to the equity and the down payment component, a lot of our parents have a lot of equity in their homes.
Sure.
but they weren't taught what we're taught. So you just brought up the point, which reminded me here that equity is built along the way. Our parents were taught to pay off their mortgages as quickly as possible, and when I speak to my uncles, my aunts, anyone that's elderly, the one thing that they say the most is that there wasn't anyone like you to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Right? And they came from different countries, so the only thing they were taught was pay off your mortgage as quickly as possible. When you retire, you're debt-free, you only have property taxes to pay for and utilities, and that's it.
Yeah.
So my point is that our parents have the equity in their home, they just aren't educated on how they can help our kids purchase property.
And you know what? Like when we were kids, we were taught, we're scared of the boogeyman or we're scared of the dark, right? Dark is literally not knowing.
Yeah.
So our parents, they don't know.
Yeah.
They're in the dark. We have to turn those lights on,
But to expand on it, it now comes down to the numbers, right? So our parents are worried, they're scared, they're fearful, they want to help.
Not ours. I mean, we're talking about first-time buyers, right?
Yeah, I can speak to mine. I mean, they're very afraid to do stuff, but they're like, whatever you say, kind of will do.
My dad was too, though. Up until not too long ago, my father was too. Like, I grew up with one house in the family, and that's it. We didn't have multiple homes and apartment buildings, and you know what I mean. So.
Yeah. It brings up another good point. There's a lot, like the people, the families and the parents that have the equity in their homes are afraid to use it. The ones that don't have equity in their homes are trying to figure out how they can pay off their mortgages as quickly as possible in order to use it.
That's true, man. That's so funny.
100%. 100%.
Guys, just to get back, so we put your application in. Now what happens?
So the application comes in.
Can I pour you another drink?
Sure. Yeah, the application comes in.
Analyze it.
I look it over, and to all of our first-time home buyers, if there's something that you cannot do today, we will show you how to do what you need to do moving forward.
So you'll set up like a plan for
We'll put a plan together.
Great.
It's called a real estate action plan. We use the term loosely around the office here.
REAP.
And it's really just knowing that roadmap, that GPS. It's no longer a Garmin. Okay, it's now actually a footprint to tell you, here's where you are today, and here's where you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
Let me punch in that address into the GPS. You tell me where you want to go. I'm going to tell you how to get there.
Does your voice change like a British lady and like?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on who I'm speaking to.
Okay, sorry, bad joke. Back on track.
But
Okay.
but once they know what they're in the position to do, they start having the conversations with mom and dad, for example.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
they may bring on brother and sister to say, "Hey, let's do this together. Let's buy a property. We don't necessarily have to live in it. Okay, we can rent it out.
Or
we can
a portion of it.
or a portion of it. But the goal is really to get into the market, is what I'm alluding to.
Get your foot in the door.
How can we get you in? When we get you in, only then now will that property appreciate, like the other client that went up by $200,000.
Fixed or variable rate?
Pause 1 sec before we go there. So my point to that is that people can now get into the market, but as somebody else is paying down their mortgage, you can rent one of my homes for less.
Sure.
And it's okay. It becomes a wash because it balances it out.
100%. I'm a big believer in that. Renting where you live is not the end of the world.
No,
It's
because
not.
I have tons of investors.
If you rent where you live, it's not the end of the world. Renting is not taboo anymore.
No, it's not.
I have multi-millionaire friends who rent where they live.
100%. Same. We have investors all the time that just say, look, like we want to live in different parts of the world for every 3 months, and we can afford to do it because we have all of these.
You own
Are in the
get your
market.
foot in the door.
In the
That's
market.
Exactly.
They
That's
have
what
rental
Chris said.
properties.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night on the phone, and we were talking about borrowing money, leverage. We're talking about leverage, and you just said what fixed or variable, right? What is it, like 1.5% right now?
Mm-hmm.
1.5
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah.
1.5% to borrow what $4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $900,000.
That's the variable rate.
That's
That's
a
a
variable
variable
rate.
Compared to the fixed rate.
It's 2.89.
Even at
Almost
So almost double, yeah.
but even 2.8, even 3% to borrow that
cheap.
significant, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And a credit card is what, like 30%, 25%?
Future shop cards were 28.8%. It killed
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It killed me.
Didn't you work at Future Shop?
Don't pay for 90 days.
But
Before we had reminders on our phone.
It's
Yeah.
incredible though,
Anyway.
like how cheap money is today to
Yeah.
borrow.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to you about that off camera. Like I want
For sure.
to borrow some money, man.
For
We're all
sure.
friends here. Come on, talk.
Yeah. Well, no, like for the audience's purposes, if you're buying a property today, and yes, everyone's rate sensitive, which I get because you only have a certain income to be able to afford the property, the monthly payments on the property.
Okay.
But depending on your risk tolerance and what you can stomach, if you're in the position where you can go on a variable rate and you can ride it out for the next 3 years, and
What's the difference? Sorry, what's the difference between variable and fixed?
Variable is it's the interest on the variable is discounted. Okay, so off of the prime rate, which allows
prime
people.
rate?
The prime rate is 2.45%. But my
And
point is that
where's the prime rate come from?
the Bank of Canada.
Bank of Canada sets a prime rate. How often is it set? Once a year, quarterly, annually?
They announce it throughout the year. Like throughout the year, the next one, for example, is on January 26th.
Got it.
But my point is that when you're going on a variable rate, you have to understand that it's going to fluctuate.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's excited when the rate is low because they're saving money, they're paying less on the mortgage. But the minute that it goes up, everyone freezes and wants to lock in the rate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to lock in the rate. You have to understand that when it was on the down and when it was low, you took advantage and you were paying more principal and you were paying less towards interest. Now that it goes up a little bit, you're going to be paying less towards principal, a little bit more towards interest,
Sure.
but it's going to average itself out.
Yeah.
Right? So people need to understand that, which is my point. Understand that piece so that way you can say within those 3 years, the example I gave earlier, if the value goes up, well, now we can borrow against it. It's only a 3-month interest penalty, or we don't even have to break the mortgage. We can get a home equity line of credit against the property, and we can use it for the down payment on the next home.
I mean, how does somebody who's never done this before know what to do? Like, you have 15 years of experience in this. Like, you just gave 2 possible scenarios that, if take a home equity line of credit, take the variable rate, take the fixed rate. There's so many decisions to make. How would somebody know what to do?
That's where we map it out. When you punch in that address and you tell me that you want to get to your destination, I'm going to tell you, okay, well, look, man, I was just stuck on the highway earlier today to get here. It's the 401 I was on. Do I go on the express or do I take the collectors?
Is this a real situation? Or?
I'm just using it as an example. It was real today. Yeah, it was real today. But my point is if I know that I can exit off of on the collectors lanes, then I'm going to use the collectors lanes to get to that destination because I have other routes that I can take to get here, which is what I did. Right? If you go on the express, you're stuck. You can't move. There's no exit.
I just thought of a really good closing line. Let me know when we're done here.
Close.
No, we're not even done. We got to have you back on here, man.
100%.
We can talk for a couple hours.
I know.
There's definitely, we're not going to get through the entire
We need
mortgage
another
curriculum
we need another any bottle for
in a 35-minute webinar. But no. What I've seen today is that, Chris, you really, really know your stuff, man. Like, I mean, I wouldn't think about buying a property without at least talking to you first, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's so many, it depends, that will affect my experience.
Yeah.
And if I want to have a good experience, I need to talk to people who've done this hundreds, thousands of times so that I know I'm doing the right thing for myself and my family.
Yeah.
Like I use baseball a lot as an analogy. Now, baseball players are not the most athletic type of people. Like if you ask a baseball player, to sprint 100 meters, I promise you there's many other athletes, football, basketball, hockey, that will outrun this baseball player.
Sure.
But when that ball is hit his way, he knows what to do. He knows what to do. Even though he's not the most athletic guy, the ball is hit to him. He knows how how to catch it, and what to do with it when it comes.
Yeah.
And ultimately winning the game. I look at service professionals like realtors, mortgage brokers, lawyers, accountants, like the same way.
Yeah. The best part of it all, though, Ed, is that the information that we give
It's free.
is free,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So what do you have to lose?
Everything.
Nothing.
Nothing. The information is
Yeah.
free.
Exactly.
So, like, my point is that people want to get into the market, they just don't know how. We know that we have mom and dad that we can literally knock on their door and say, listen, mom and dad, I need to borrow $100,000 from you. That $100,000 is going to have a monthly payment on it for about $300 if it's being borrowed from a line of credit. So,
sorry, $300 to borrow $100,000.
yeah,
That's all you have to pay.
right. But where I'm going with that is
Like,
that
this is not a plug. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, borrow money. Like, that's incredible. That's nothing.
My question isn't how can I do that? It's how
That's
many
building-
times can I do that?
Yeah, that's building wealth right
How
there.
many times
Leverage.
can I do that? Like,
Yeah.
I want to do that like
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
Benny,
but-
that's what I'm saying. I want to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, for real.
$600 a year to borrow 100,000.
That's nothing.
Yeah. But mind you, as the first-time home buyers who we're speaking to, they also have to factor in that $300, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, mom and dad are lending us this money, we've borrowed it from them, it's going to cost us $300. Can we afford to pay that extra $300? Do we not buy a bottle of Henny for 3 times for the month, I should say? Or is it, do we cut in other areas? And that $300 now that is costing them, remember that 80-20 rule, right? So as the property appreciates in value, we can borrow up to 80% and we can pay mom and dad back, right? And now they can continue on their own, but they just need the help to get into the market.
It's true.
That's all it is.
It's true.
And it doesn't have to be that home that first-time home buyers always dream about to say, it's my forever home.
No.
It doesn't have to be detached right away. It doesn't have to be a semi-detached right.
a
It's just to
stepping
get
stone.
in.
Yeah, get your foot in the door. Once your foot is in the door, you can pivot so much and do so many different things. The name of the game is wealth creation. The name of the game is owning.
It's like a forced savings account.
Yeah, it's a forced savings account. That's what I like to look at property as. That's what I tell all of my friends, family, clients, that property is just another bank account. That's all it is. It's like
Piggy bank.
it's a piggy bank, putting money from your right pocket to the left pocket. You know?
Yeah.
But, no, why you so-
But realistically,
that shot.
the piggy bank analogy,
that shot.
the piggy bank analogy is really to say that you've got
our
money
first
in the
time.
piggy bank,
Yeah.
and similar to you, I can give you a good analogy here. I just came up with it. When you put money in your piggy bank, in order to get that money, how do you get
You
it?
have to break the piggy bank.
You have to break the piggy bank, right? So the same way when you get a mortgage and you have to break your mortgage, you have to pay a penalty.
Yeah,
So when you break your piggy bank, you have to go buy another piggy bank to fill it back up.
it's true.
So it's costing you to go buy that next piggy bank, right?
Why break it? Why not have?
No, it's okay because you're going to break that mortgage and you're going to break that piggy bank to go purchase another, do something else with
Got it.
it. But I'm saying you're going to recycle that piggy bank.
Got it.
The property is the piggy bank,
I see.
okay? And that property is what's going to get you into more property,
I get it.
okay?
I get it. I love it. I love it. So we got through one question with you, and not even. We got an application in.
Okay, so let's just make sure we can kind of,
Okay. So we get the application in. Chris analyzes it. Then we go shopping.
no, then I get on another intake call with the client.
Okay.
I map everything out. That's the
Okay.
GPS.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, what's a good credit score?
After the map or before the map?
Before the for the client to have another intake call with Chris. What's
No,
a
so
good-
I'm not pulling credit at the time. My one expectation from anyone I deal with is that they can tell me, Chris, I've got 2 lines of credits. The limits are X. The balances are Y. I got a car payment of $350.
So you can
What's he driving, bro? Jeez. What's he driving?
you can determine
Hyundai?
you can determine
Sorry for anyone who has a Hyundai. I see Hyundai.
Yeah, why you-
beautiful.
why-
Yeah, regardless of the payment.
2002 Hyundai.
yeah,
That's
yeah, stop. You're
Hey,
done.
hello.
Yeah. Too much coffee for you today, man.
Yeah.
Like you can determine, you have a good sense, a good idea of somebody's credit score based on.
Yeah, when I speak to them, I can tell if they're credit worthy, and if they're very particular about how they make payments on their credit cards and the balances
can
and
you
the
tell?
lines of credit. I ask.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
like an accent.
No, I just ask. I ask them, and it gives me a good indication as to how far I can take the
I
client.
understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But to answer the question, the minimum credit score requirement is 680.
Okay.
If it's less than 680, then your borrowing power decreases.
Got it.
Does your interest rate, is it
Affected?
Is it higher?
affected? Yeah.
No, the rates don't really get affected. It's just the borrowing power is a more important piece.
Another question I have, this is for me too. Does it matter like A lender, B lender, D, C, whatever? Like, does that matter? Like, how big of a, like, if I come to you for my next mortgage, right? And
When you come to me, yeah.
oh, when? Sorry,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
if. I'm sorry,
Sir.
like that. No, like
Yeah.
That.
when I come to you for my next mortgage, Jazz, you're distracting me, brother. Does it matter if I'm going to an A lender or B, C, D? Does that matter? Does this stuff
Yeah,
matter?
initially it does, because sometimes you may not have the credit requirements. To your point, you may not have all of the income, but you'll have the down payment. So that builds strength. If you can come up with the 20%, well, now you can use that 20%, and your interest rate might be a little higher, but that's okay. It's a Band-Aid. It's just to get you in. And then once you can do that for the next 6 to 12 months, the exit strategy is to move from an alternative lender, for example, to an A lender, and vice versa.
Got it.
Depending on, you may buy properties under your personal name with A lenders, but there's going to come a point in time where you're going to need to buy under with an alternative lender because you no longer qualify with an A lender. So that's initially what you're asking me earlier, what happens through the application process. That's what I design. I design all of that so that way the client knows what they need to do moving forward.
The next time we have you on, Chris, I want to have a bell here, and every time the answer is "it depends," I'm going to ring
We
the bell.
hit the bell.
Okay.
Either that or we take a shot.
No, God, come on. We're going to be spitting on the camera. No,
But yeah,
those are great questions, Imran. I'm sure that tons of first-time home buyers have these exact same questions. Right?
Thank you, Anthony Tabar, Royal LePage Signature, 416-509-7771, my partner as well. You make me want to buy real estate, brother.
Thank you
the
so
way
much.
you speak about real estate, I want to buy real estate. And Chris D'Souza, what's your phone number?
416-884-2984.
You make me want to get financing and a mortgage pre-approval right. No, but seriously, we're gonna talk off camera. Like, I want to borrow some money, man.
Okay.
It's super cheap right now.
I want you to buy a property because when you work with no money in your bank account, there's nobody that works harder than you.
Who are you talking about?
You.
Me? What'd you say?
When you work, when you have no money in your bank account because you just bought a property or you just like.
That's so funny, bro.
That's
Broke is a mindset.
the
Yeah.
hardest working Imran I know.
That's broke is a mindset.
After he buys a property.
Respect. I
So
love you,
get
brother.
Chris on the phone.
Yeah.
Get through that application.
Yeah.
Have him build a roadmap for you,
Yeah.
and then we go shopping.
And then you go shopping.
Is that what happens?
You can
After
go.
the second intake.
You can go window shopping if you like too. That's a lot of things. Times I tell my investors, go window shopping. You're prepared to buy 3 properties. Each one is $700,000 each. You buy it when you feel comfortable. Window shop if there's something that you like. You can put in an offer.
Guys, honestly, I know we had a lot of fun here today, and we were laughing, and it was a good time. But really, this is no joke. Financing, we're refinancing. We're going to get into the next time we have you on the show. It's a science, and you want somebody strong in your corner. So please, DM us, leave your messages in the comments.
Call us, email Insta.
info@thecondocorner.ca is the easiest way to get a hold of us. There's probably 4 or 5 people monitoring that email address.
At all times, yeah.
Imran Alam, 647-400-6252.
Hi, you remember my number?
Yeah, we're good friends. But yeah, get in touch with your trusted realtor, your trusted mortgage advisor. And do yourselves a favor and take advantage of this snowball that just keeps growing and growing. What we call the GTA real estate market.
Yeah. And if you can build all of your team of experts, not just the mortgage broker, not just the real estate agent, but I still want you to get a lawyer, home inspector, all of the above in terms of ensuring that you have all the right team of experts in place. Accountant is your go-to. Aside from me, which is I always like to think I'm the most important guy, but I always say the accountant.
Brother. You're our first guest, our first webinar, our first guest. We appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate
thank you, brother. You're coming in, bad traffic, whatever, Thank you. We really appreciate you, man. And
but the GPS got me here.
Thank you, man.
We're signing off.
Yeah, we're signing off. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.